Hello there, and welcome to another of Andre's Artist Profiles. Today, I'm going to be profiling Sonny Rollins. Today is Sonny Rollins' 83rd birthday. He's just a flat-out great sax player. I mean, he's not Charlie Parker. He's not Coleman Hawkins, and, but he just has a sound that is very distinctive, very likable, and a very, very, very fluid musical imagination. I think that he extended something important, somewhere between Bird and Coltrane. He really brought that soul kind of flavor into it during the hard bop era. Now, my father listened to a lot of Sonny Rollins coming up, The Bridge, Way Out West, all that sort of thing. So I was very familiar with those albums. But I started reading on Rate Your Music that Sonny Rollins had all these albums from the mid to late 70s and early 80s that were really good, but they just weren't his classic period. But anyway, the one you see here, I actually found at the Goodwill of all places in really good shape. Except there's some sticky stuff on the jewel case, but that doesn't matter because it's just the album. Saxophone Colossus. This is considered to be Sonny Rollins' greatest album. I can't disagree. I mean, look at the personnel on this. Tommy Flanagan, Max Roach. No, these are people who play with Charlie Parker. I mean, Max Roach played with Charlie Parker, and St.Thomas is on here. Any people who are really into jazz, they all know St.Thomas really well. It's sort of a standard now. Great idea. Brings Jelly Roll Morton's Spanish tinge through the Caribbean back into the music, which I love. Great album. Classic. I just couldn't resist it. This is The Sound of Swing, an album by Sonny Rollins that was made in 1957, around the same time as Saxophone Colossus. This has Paul Chambers, Roy Haynes, Sonny Clark, and Percy Heath on it. The bonus track is a song called Funky Hotel Blues. Now, here's another compilation, but the reason I got this is because at the time I didn't have Saxophone Colossus, and my dad had this compilation and loved it, and it's a great compilation. All the stuff you're going to see on this, all these tracks, if you can read them on the back, are all Sonny Rollins classics. All of Sonny Rollins classics, recorded with Rudy Van Gelder in his prime period. If you want to get a taste of Sonny Rollins at his best, this is the album to look for. It's got the cream of the crop. It's not the newest remaster, but it's just really, really good Sonny Rollins. Now, this album, The Way I Feel, was made in 1976. And it features people like Patrice Rushen, Lee Ritenour, Billy Cobham, Bill Summers. This is a wonderful jazz funk record, and Sonny plays on it wonderfully. He was made for jazz funk. He just had so much soul. Now, I hear critics saying all the time, "No, this is a disco album." But so what if it was? Disco's a dance anyway, right? They just dance into some type of funk music, whatever it is. But this is a great jazz funk album. If you love jazz funk, you got to get this. Easy Living. This is the follow-up from 1977. This one is where he gets kind of interesting, It's not quite jazz funk exactly. I mean, it does have Tony Williams on drums, and George Duke plays keyboard on this, actually. But it's kind of a mixture of acoustic instrumentation with electric nuances. And he does a version of Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder on here, which is really rather interesting because it captures that spirit that I just mentioned really well. Now, I really love this album. Sonny Rollins from 1979, Don't Ask. Again, everybody says this is his disco album. But like with the Roy Ayers Ubiquity did the song Runnin' on their Lifeline album, this album, it even has a song called Disco Monk on it. Using references from, Thelonious Monk. But really, this is disco dance functioning as funk. It's got Mark Susskind on piano, percussions by Bill Summers, drummer Al Foster. Larry Coryell's got an interesting personnel list. One of my favorite Sonny Rollins albums, actually. Really is. This album is Love at First Sight from 1980. This features George Duke and Stanley Clarke. Like Easy Living, another example of kind of you know, acoustic electric hybrid that I find very interesting. It's kind of a sleeper album for him. He had a lot of live albums between this and that, but then this one came along in 1981. No problem. This is somewhat more of a jazzy hard bop album. This came along right around the time the Young Lions were just beginning to emerge. You know, just starting to make their place in the world. And Bobby Hutchinson plays vibes on this, and again Tony Williams. Bobby Broom plays electric guitar, but the electric influence is very light on this album. It's really pretty much a straight hard bop record, but a great one. Real Life from 1982. I actually got this not long after it came out. This album, especially the title song, kind of reminds me a little bit of Miles Davis and Fat Time, which is coming out around 81, 82 as well. Great album. It's, again, got Bobby Broom, Jack DeJohnette on drums, Bob Crenshaw, bass player. Really good album for Sonny Rollins. Now this one, Sunny Days and Starry Nights. Now these albums all came around the time Sonny played on Waiting on a Friend for the Rolling Stones. So this album actually reflects a lot of that style of playing that he would do on that album. You know, and again, this one is a great hybrid between electric and acoustic. Really good balance of music. And the same can be said for this one. Falling in Love with Jazz. This is a 1990 release featuring Branford Marsalis and young Jeff Tain Watts, actually, is on this album as well. Recorded in 1989. So there you have it. That is my collection of music by Sonny Rollins. Now you might say, why would you explore a period of a man's career that nobody would really probably care about except yourself? Well, personally, I feel that sometimes in situations like that, an artist creates some of their greatest art when you're not personally expecting it. And it's up to the audience to listen up and hear what they're doing. You know, like with Miles Davis, you may expect him to play pop standards, but he may want to do On the Corner or play Agartha or Pangea or whatever. This is what most people think of Sonny Rollins from this period, but you know, albums like Don't Ask and The Way I Feel, that's the other side of Sonny Rollins, a more soulful side. That's what I wanted to celebrate on his 83rd birthday today. See y'all next time.